Dear listeners, before we start today's show, a quick warning. The first segment of the episode contains descriptions of brutal violence. Hi, I'm Rahel Philipose, and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express News Show. In this episode, we talk about the protests by Jain communities in Gujarat and Jharkhand. We also give you an update on the Haldwani eviction case. But first, we talk about a gruesome murder in Pune. On December 17th, a body was found on a farm in Pune next to a rotavator. People assumed that it was the body of a farmer who operated the rotavator, which is a farm equipment used for ploughing and tilling the land. While the news of his accidental death spread, 2 kilometers away in a neighboring village, a family filed a missing persons case after another farmer didn't come back home. As the police started investigating and piecing together the clues, they realized that both the cases are related. And their investigation uncovered a premeditated murder, a switched identity, and an affair gone wrong. And to take us through this twisted case, the Indian Express's Sushant Kulkarni joins us in this segment. So Sushant, can you first tell us who and what this story is about?
So this is the story of a 58-year-old farmer from a village named Saroli Khurd in Pune district. His name is Kerba Thorve, and how he staged his own extremely gory and accidental death by beheading a 48-year-old acquaintance. His name was Ravindra Ghenand, and also mutilated his body in a rotavator. So the second person, the deceased, Ghenand, lived in the neighboring village of Thorve. Thorve is a farmer and also earned his living by operating this rotavator, which he has used as a murder weapon in this crime.
Okay, so now that we've established what happened, let's get into how all of these came to light. So on December 17th, a body was found on a farm. Can you tell us what happened after that?
So on the morning of December 17th, a mangled headless body was found to a rotavator on a farm in Saroli village of Pune. It is around 25 kilometers from Pune city. Now, primary observations and investigations by the police concluded that this could have been an accident. The person who was operating the rotavator may have fallen in front of that machine, and his head might have gotten severed in that through those blades, and the body was mutilated, leading to the death. Now, initially it was thought that the severed head, could have been taken away by wild or stray animals. Now, based on the clothes on that body, it was identified to be of Thorve, the 58-year-old farmer. His sons also identified the body based on the clothes on the body, because they identified that the clothes were their father's. But in spite of the head missing, the police kind of concluded that this was an accidental death and it happened because of the rotavator. The last rites of the remaining body were performed, and also hoardings were put up paying respects to Thorve in the village. WhatsApp messages were circulated announcing the date of his post-death rituals, which is called the Shakriya Vidhi, and those rituals were conducted on December 22nd, that is 5 days after the body was discovered.
Right. And meanwhile, 2 kilometers away in the neighboring village, Ghenand's family realized he had not returned since the day before. But that wasn't unusual, right?
Yes. So just to give you a brief background, Ghenand also was a farmer, but worked as a driver for last several years. And the family and the police have told us that he was suffering from alcoholism. And the family has also revealed that it has been a history with Ghenand that he used to not come home for several days in a row. He used to not even work for several days in a row, primarily because he was suffering from alcoholism. But the family said that he at least used to give a call once, wherever he was. Now, in this case, Ghenand did not call for 2 days. The family did not receive any call. And this did raise doubts with the family. So they decided to finally approach the police on December 19th and registered a missing complaint.
Okay, so when the police started probing the case of Ghenan's disappearance, what did they find?
So this Dhanore village, which is neighboring to Thorve's Charoli village, is surrounded by a lot of industries. It has become an industrial cluster. So that area has a lot of security cameras installed on the roads. While the police were investigating Ghenan's disappearance, they examined several CCTV footages in the area and they found that the day before Thorve's body was found, which is December 16th, both Thorve and Ghenan could be seen in several CCTV footage traveling together on Thorve's tractor. This was one of the important clues that gave a different direction to the investigation, which means that a person who was presumed dead in an accident and a person who has gone missing were seen together the day before they were last seen.
After this, the police started linking the two cases together. And while the investigation was going on 24th December, the police was informed that Thorve was in fact alive. And Sushant says the entire investigation then brought out shocking details about why and how Thorve killed Ghenand and switched identities to stage his own accidental death.
So the reason he staged his own gory accidental death was because Thorve wanted to leave behind his present life and wanted to elope with a married woman. So now the investigation suggests that it was Thorve who had met Ghenand the day before, which is on December 16th. Then he took Ghenand on a farm, the owner of which had hired Thorve's services to operate the rotavator. While going to that farm, Thorve gave money to Ghenand to purchase liquor. And while Thorve was operating that rotavator, Ghenand, who was accompanying him, had been constantly drinking. In the night of December 16, and this is what investigation suggests, Thorve decided it was time to kill Ghenand. So using a very sharp knife that is used to cut the grass, Thorve first severed Ghenand, he beheaded him, and then he put his own clothes on Ghenand's body and then used the rotavator to mutilate that body. Thorve then took the sharp knife that he has used. He took also the head of Ghenand. He dumped it in an abandoned well and literally walked without clothes for a long distance towards that woman's village he was having an affair with. On the way, Thorve borrowed clothes from people, picked up that woman, and went to a nearby town named Jejuri. Now, the investigation suggests, and this is what shows that this was a premeditated act, a few days before this, Thorve had handed over 35,000 rupees to that woman. Now, together they went and lived in Jejuri for some time. Meanwhile, Thorve ended up telling that woman what exactly had happened. And at this point, she got extremely scared and started insisting that she be dropped home with her family. And I think this is a key turning point in the story. Woman not deciding to be an accomplice to the murderer in the case. So Thorve did drop the woman back to her family and himself, with no option left to return to the village because his last rites had already been performed, he went to his sister. And it is at this point the sister said she refused to, give him support and informed the villagers and the police the next day, which is on December 24. And this brought to light that Thorve was in fact alive. Now, at this point, when Ghenan's family got to know that Thorve was alive, they started thinking of the worst.
Okay, but Sushant, how did the police investigation conclusively link Thorve's supposed death and Ghenan's disappearance?
So after the sister told the police that Thorve was alive. Thorve was taken into custody, and he initially started displaying very unruly behavior. He absolutely did not cooperate with police investigation, and he had to be admitted to a hospital. But during the sustained investigation, he did reveal what had happened and told this entire sequence to the police. He also gave police the location of the sharp knife and Ghenan's head, which was in an abandoned well. So police recovered that sharp weapon. Police also recovered and seized the rotavator on the farm, which now suggests that it was used to kill Ghenan, and also Ghenan's head. So all this recovery of crucial evidences now conclusively linked that it was Thorve who had brutally murdered Ghenan and had staged his own accidental death.
Okay, and can you tell us what is happening with the investigation now?
So, as part of the investigation, police have now recorded the statement of that woman Thorve tried to elope with, and police have also traced the entire track taken by Thorve after and before he committed this act. So that all has been established as part of the investigation. The investigation is, of course, undergoing. Thorve was subsequently arrested on the charges of murder and destruction of evidence. Ghenan's head was handed over to his family, and the family, which was thinking that their father was missing, then performed the last rites of Ghenan.
So, Sushant, what do you think stands out in this case?
So if we look at the story from a distance, it does seem like a story of a very inhuman, savage murder. I mean, it's nothing short of a crime thriller. But if we look at it closely, and I have interacted as part of my reporting, I have interacted with both the families, it's a story of an unimaginable emotional turmoil that these families have gone through. So one family, which is Thorve's, who initially thought that their father was dead. And just to tell you another fact, Thorve's wife also had died 2 years ago by committing suicide. So initially they thought their father was dead, and now it has come to light that their father has murdered an innocent man and is now in police custody. On the other hand, Ghenan's family, who thought that Ghenan was missing, now had to perform his last rites after it came to light that he was actually brutally murdered. So I think on the closer look, this is actual story that the two families have gone through an emotional turmoil in the recent past.
And next we talk about the Jain communities in Gujarat and Jharkhand. This week, news of Jain community protests from Jharkhand and Gujarat broke out. Though both of these protests stemmed from different issues, they found resonance in Jain communities across the country. Both protests centered around two Jain holy sites, Samet Shikhar on Parasnath Hill in Jharkhand and Shatrunjay Hill in Palitana of Gujarat. In this segment, the Indian Express's Parimal Dabhi joins us to talk about where these issues originated, what are the protesters demanding, and the status of these protests. So, Parimal, can you first tell us why certain Jain communities are staging protests in Gujarat and some other states?
So, basically, they are having two issues. One is related to the state of Jharkhand and the other is related to the state of Gujarat. So in Jharkhand, they have issues regarding one of their holy sites in Giridih district, which is called Samet Shikhar. And here in Gujarat, they are having issues with one of their holy sites located on the Shatrunjay Hill in Palitana, Bhavnagar district of Saurashtra region.
Right. So then first let's talk about Jharkhand. Could you tell us about the issue's origin?
Yeah, so in Jharkhand, the state of Jharkhand, they have issued a notification whereby they have notified the Samet Shikhar and region around it as a tourist spot. This was done in February 2019, and in the same year in August, the central government had also issued a notification marking this region as ecotourism site. So the Jains are saying that this entire place, which is located on the Parasnath hill, and the Sammet Sikhar is one of their most holy sites where 20 of the 24 Tirthankars, they are believed to have attained salvation. So they are saying that it's a very holy site for the Jain community, one of the most important sites for them religiously. And if this place is developed as a tourist spot, then the sanctity of the entire area will be lost. And if the area is developed as a tourist spot, then many menaces related to tourism will come to this place, affecting the Jain principles. So they are saying that this cannot be done, and that's why they are protesting these two decisions by the central and the state government.
Okay, so basically their issue is that their religious values will be compromised through the influx of tourists. But you mentioned the circular was issued almost 3 years back. So why is the protest gaining traction now?
So, as we have reported, the people who are protesting in Jharkhand, the Jains, they are saying that although the notifications were issued in 2019, they came to know about it just now in December, and that's why they are protesting. They are saying that they are the main stakeholders in this entire issue about developing this area as a tourist spot, but they were not consulted at all by the center or the state government. So that's why they are protesting, and they are demanding that these two decisions should be withdrawn. Either it should be denotified or the notification should be withdrawn.
Right, okay. And now coming to Gujarat, can you tell us what's happening there?
Yeah, so the Shatrunjay Hill in Palitana of Bhavnagar district, it is one of the most important holy sites for Jains in Gujarat, and even across the country. So here in Palitana, at the foothills of Shatrunjay Hill, there is one shrine is located, and this shrine, it carries Adinath Dada's Pagla. I mean, it's a marble carving representing the feet of Lord Adinath, who was the first Jain Tirthankar. And on November 26th, I mean, intervening night of November 26th and November 27th, some vandalism happened at this shrine, and these marble feet of Lord Adinath, they were vandalized by some unknown persons. So Shet Anandji Kalyanji Pedi, which is the Jain organization that is handling this shrine, I mean its affairs, the security manager of this organization, he's lodged a complaint with the police about this vandalism issue in early December. So after this complaint, the police have arrested one person, and police have stated that the main intent of this issue, this vandalism, was because the person who has been arrested for theft, he had entered the shrine thinking that he'll get some money or some ornaments or something like that. But he didn't find anything, and that's why, out of outrage, he damaged these feet of Lord Adinath. So that is the police's case in this issue. And the Jains are very disturbed with this, that they are demanding that this entire region should be given proper protection.
Okay, so the vandalism, according to the police, was not a religion-based crime, but just the outrage of a thief who felt his efforts were wasted because he didn't find the treasures he was hoping for, right?
Correct.
Okay, but is there any religious divide here in the protests as well after the vandalism event?
Yeah, so atop this Shatrunjay Hill, there is one Hindu temple of Nilkanth Mahadev is situated, and this Shet Anandji Kalyanji Pedi, it is managing its affairs, and this Jain organization, it had planned to install CCTV cameras on that temple premises. So some local Hindu religious figure, Swami Sarnanand, he and his supporters, they were raising issues, they were raising objections that a Jain organization cannot install CCTVs on Hindu temple. And while they were raising these issues, the poles that were installed on these temple premises for installation of CCTV cameras, some unidentified persons had removed those poles. So following that, this Anandji Kalyanji Pedi authorities, they had lodged a complaint with police against Swami Sarnanand and some others. So following this complaint, police have arrested around 7 persons, including Swami Sarnanand. But it is to be noted that police have stated that the vandalism at the Jain shrine and the issue of CCTV cameras and the police complaint that followed it, they are completely different issues and they are not connected at all.
Right. And apart from the vandalism, are they raising any other issues in Gujarat?
Apart from this vandalism issue, the Jains are also raising many other issues surrounding this Shatrunjay Hill. I mean, they are saying that illegal mining is going on and some liquor business is going on. So they are illegal land grabbing is being done around this area. So they are seeking protection for the entire place from the state government.
Okay. And are Jharkhand and Gujarat the only states to witness these protests by the Jain community, or has it spilled to other parts of the country as well?
Yeah, we have been witnessing protests not only in Gujarat but in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra, in New Delhi. All these places are witnessing protests by the Jain community.
So, where does this all go from here? Do we have any indication from the protesters or the government regarding this?
So, if we talk about the Gujarat protests, I mean the issues related to the Gujarat sites, Gujarat government has already augmented the police security around Shatrunjay Hill. They're planning a new police post also there. Apart from that, the state government has also announced that they will form a special task force which will have officials from various departments like revenue, forest, police, home department, and even representatives from the local Nagar Palika to look into the issues, the grievances of the Jain community, to address all those grievances of the Jain community. As far as the Jharkhand issue is concerned, I mean, these Jain protesters are telling us that Minority Commission has issued a notice to the Jharkhand government on the issue of developing the Sammed Sikhar area as a tourist spot, and probably it's scheduled for hearing on 17th of January. So that is how it is. The entire issue is placed right now for both Jharkhand and Gujarat.
And in the end, we give you an update on the Haldwani eviction case. The Supreme Court yesterday stayed the Uttarakhand High Court's direction to evict people living on land claimed by the railways in Haldwani. The SC said that they cannot be uprooted overnight and some rehabilitation scheme is necessary for those claiming legal rights in the land. On 1st January, over 4,000 families living near the railway station in Haldwani were served eviction notices. The land on which these families live is owned by the railways, which claims that it has been illegally encroached upon. We spoke to the Indian Express's Avnish Mishra about this on yesterday's episode of Three Things, the link of which is given in the description.
So on the 1st of January, a notice was served through local newspapers, and regular announcements is being made in the area through district administration that people need to clear the land and leave their houses and just vacate the place within the next 7 days. And if not, then action would be taken, which would include demolition of the land, and the cost of demolition would be charged or taken from the encroachers.
The residents strongly oppose this. Many claim that they were living on the land for decades, and some of them even said they bought the land in a government auction. Waris Shah Khan, one of the residents who was served the notice, said that he had bought his land after partition in a government auction.
ये रेलवे की जो दावेदारी है बिल्कुल नाजायज है, बिल्कुल गलत है और हमारे साथ अन्याय हुआ है. हमें नहीं सुना गया क्योंकि हमारे पास में कस्टोडियन के पेपर हैं. ये वो पेपर हैं जो बंटवारे के वक्त यहाँ से लोग पाकिस्तान चले गए थे और उन्होंने वहां अपने दावे ठोके थे. उसके बाद में ये गवर्नमेंट ने ऑक्शन किए थे. इसको हमने सेशन में दाखिल करा था, लेकिन सेशन में सुनवाई चल रही थी इससे पहले कि हाई कोर्ट से जजमेंट आ गया.
While hearing the petitions challenging the High Court order, the Supreme Court said, and I quote, "There cannot be uprooting of 50,000 people in 7 days. We do believe that a workable arrangement is necessary to segregate people who may have no rights in the land, who will have to be removed, coupled with schemes of rehabilitation which may already exist while recognizing the need of the railways. Issuing notice to the railways and the state of Uttarakhand, the court also directed that there shall be complete restraint on further constructions on the land, whether by existing occupants or by others. Taking up petitions filed against the High Court order, the bench asked whether the demarcation had been done to show how much land belonged to the railways and how much to the state. Additional Solicitor General Aishwarya Bhati, who was appearing for the railways, submitted that it had been done. The court, however, said there may be instances of people who have purchased land there in auctions, etc. The bench also said that they need to deal with people who may have purchased in auctions or claimed rights in the land and emphasized on the need for rehabilitation. The court will now hear the matter on February 7th. You were listening to Three Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was hosted by me, Rahel Philipose, and written and produced by Utsa Sarmin with the help of Anwiti Singh. It was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone who you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.